Welcome to another installment of Parent Perspective, a video series designed to assist and educate parents, guardians, and family members of our current Arkansas Tech students. We know that you play a major role in the success of our students, and we need your help getting your loved one through to graduation. We hope that through these video series, we can provide you some valuable insight into the academic and social life of your student. Today, our focus is on student wellness. And to kind of help us with this, we've brought in Ms. Christy Davis, who serves as the Associate Dean for Student Wellness here. Thank you for joining us, Christy.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Christy, if you could, would you talk to us a little bit about the services and the role that your office provides?
Yeah, so we aim to remove barriers for students. They're here to focus on academics, and we want to support them in meeting their academic and career goals. So we want to remove any health-related barriers that we can, and we often do that by personalized services. So whether it's counseling or health services, if they need to come and speak to a counselor, all of our students can come and speak to a licensed counselor up to 10 times per year. And they can also see a nurse practitioner if that's something that they want to talk to a nurse about, maybe some medication. If they're really having trouble functioning, maybe they're just not sleeping or their appetite has really changed and they're not doing well, they can come in and speak to one of our nurses about possible medication management. All of our services are free because they've been paid for with the health and wellness fee that's paid in the tuition and fees for all students. And so that gives them access to the health and wellness center services.
So when we talk about student wellness, this is a time of transition. Whether we can't just think that transition is just the first semester, in particular for those first semester freshmen. It evolves. It's different for each person. So this is such a big deal, big time of transition. And some people, it really doesn't hit them until they're a sophomore or a junior or their second semester as a freshman. So that transition time can have a huge impact on college students. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that effect is and what you guys see in your area in regards to the effect that this is having on students?
Right. Well, you mentioned, of course, freshmen. That's a big transition for them, but not only freshmen. Sometimes these issues continue. This transition continues throughout the 4 or 5 years that they're here. One of the biggest things that we see is the increased independence that students have. For many of them, it's the first time in their lives where they're making decisions about what to do with their time, when to go to bed, what to eat, whether they go to class or not. All of those decisions can be really challenging for students, and sometimes they don't make the best decisions and they need to kind of regroup and come back and reassess what they're doing with their time. And so it can be exciting for students, but also pretty overwhelming. Also trying to fit in socially. You know, students are trying to decide, how do I continue to engage and relate to the people back home, whether it's friends or family, and continue those relationships, but also to build new ones and find where they fit in on campus here. They may be exploring identity issues that they've never really addressed before, that now they're wanting to kind of take a look at themselves and what they want to be about and who they want to be. Also balancing their time is a big part of this adjustment. And so like I mentioned earlier, they're making some big decisions about what to do. There's so many opportunities that they have, and it's sometimes tough to manage the balance between the academic goals and the personal goals. And so fear of missing out can be a really big thing. I have a daughter who's a freshman, and that's been something big that she's had to deal with, is wanting to do everything and not wanting to miss out on anything. And so they have to adjust to what is it that is really important to me and prioritize those and find the things that really matter to them and make sure that they're fitting in all of the things that they want to do. And of course, putting college and their academics first.
Sure. Well, and then when you kind of lump all that together, whether it's the social side and the personal side and the academic side, that's where we see this stress ball, this amount of stress that students have. Whether we may look at it as stressful or not, for them it is, because there is so many different competing factors in there, and then the independence, the newfound independence in making those decisions are harder, so it leads to that stress. And I see that in students with what I deal, and some students were able to work through that, and some students it's a little bit more profound. Can you talk to us about when you see a student who is stressed, how do you help them manage that? How do you help them work through that?
Well, I think first they have to realize that no one can do everything. And so, it's important to take that time to kind of try out some different things on campus, get involved, but then narrow those things down to what do they have a passion about, what's really important to them, and so that they can prioritize those things and maybe not try to do everything, but find the few things that they really enjoy and pour their time into that. Also, never to ignore a problem. So if you're noticing, or if you or your student are noticing maybe some academic challenges or emotional challenges, not to just let those go, to face those and see what they can do about those. And knowing when to ask for help. If they need to go to the tutoring center, or if they need to come to counseling services or health services, go see their advisor, whatever the case may be, that they know when to ask for help and that they're willing to do that. And then to just use those coping skills that they've had. Students have, had stress in high school, maybe not to this level, but they have ways that they've used in the past that can work for them now. So if they played sports and that was always an outlet for them, finding maybe an intramural team to play on, or joining a fitness class or something like that, or if they like to write, maybe they'll start journaling about their stress, just finding something that they can do to let out some of that stress that they have pent up inside.
A couple of things struck me there. What you said was understanding and knowing when to say no and that it's okay. That's something that is a good trait to have throughout life, but you can't do everything. You can't be a part of everything. And then the way you touched on the fact of use your resources, use your people that are there here at the university, whether it be staff members that are here to help you, or your peers or your colleagues, or your resident assistant, your resident director. But there is support networks here to help you, whether that be in your campus ministry or your student organization, your fraternity, sorority. Utilize those things and don't be afraid to ask. I think that's great. We understand that our students are going to perform at their optimum level when they're free of stress and when they have a level of personal wellness. Can you talk to us a little bit about what is that personal well-being that we're striving for our students to have?
Yes, I can't overemphasize how much self-care can contribute to the well-being of your student. So things like sleep and diet and exercise. Sleep deprivation is a huge problem for students. They are managing their own sleep habits on their own now. They don't have anyone to tell them to go to bed or get that sleep. So helping them to really look at how much they're sleeping, getting into those good sleep hygiene habits can really be helpful. Sleep deprivation can really contribute to a lot of mental illness. Depression and anxiety can really stem from sleep. And if we're not sleeping well, we can't really do anything well. And so that's super important to talk to your student about. Eating healthy is also important. Again, that, freedom to eat whatever they want to, go get pizza and fries in the cafeteria every day. So it's important that they kind of balance those things out and choose some healthy fruits and vegetables, and our cafeteria has a lot of good options for that. Also, exercising is a great help in relieving stress levels. So whether it's just walking around campus or going to use Tech Fit or getting involved in a fitness class is really important. And then staying organized can just kind of help clear out some of that clutter that is going on in our minds, and with all the deadlines and things, getting that onto paper and a planner can really relieve a lot of stress.
Great. Parents obviously aren't here, but we know they are communicating with our students almost daily in many cases, or most cases. What might be some things that parents may hear or see or don't see or don't hear that may be some cause for concern about their loved one maybe not being well?
Right. I think some signs that your student may be struggling a lot or need a little bit of intervention. If you notice that they're out all the time, you can't ever get in touch with them, maybe they're doing a little bit too much of the socializing and not enough of studying, or maybe they're having trouble balancing those things. So finding out, if they're doing well with managing those opportunities for extra, activities and things like that would be good. Also, if you get any kind of inclination that they're skipping a lot of class, that's a huge red flag that you would want to talk to them about and intervene as quickly as you can. Maybe there's other issues. Maybe they're not, they're staying out too late, and so they're not getting sleep, and so they're not getting up to go to class, or they could be, hungover, or just having trouble with motivation or feeling overwhelmed. So there are a lot of things that could be going on that may be contributing to missing class. Also, if they're sleeping all the time, sometimes students can go into kind of a feeling of overwhelm or stress or depression, and that may cause them to want to sleep a lot more than they should be. And so just to check in if you notice that they're taking a lot of naps or sleeping more than you think that they should be, that could be a red flag that you'd want to check into.
What are some of the outreach programs that your department does to encourage the sense of wellness and to get students on the right track and through right habits?
Yeah, we do a lot of educational workshops, whether it's our counselors or nurses. We also have student peer health educators, and we want to get as much information out there for students as we can so that they can make good decisions with their health behaviors. And so I would encourage your student to look for those opportunities. We have social media presence, so our ATU Student Wellness Department has a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Twitter page that you could follow or ask your student if they're following, and that has a lot of good information as well as times and dates and locations for our programs. So it could be workshops, anything from managing stress to test anxiety to any number of health topics. And so we would encourage students to take a look at those things and come participate in those.
If we look at how you want students to utilize your services, I know that it's the counseling side and the health side. How do you want to be of benefit to students? How do you hope to interact with students?
Well, there are a lot of opportunities to learn about wellness and how students can improve their health. And some of those are in taking advantage of the one-on-one services like counseling services and health services with the nurse. But there are a lot of other opportunities that students, I think, sometimes miss out on. So we would love for them to take a look at our website. There's some good information there. They can ask a nurse a question. They can email, and that's information there on the website about how they can do that. Taking a look at our social media presence and looking at all the information there and coming to our programs. There's a lot of ways that they can get more health information that we would love for them to take advantage of, not just by the one-on-one face-to-face services.
Well, we know that our students being well and healthy will lead to much more success academically. And we appreciate what your office does in outreach and what your staff does one-on-one in helping our students remain healthy and remain focused on their goal here. So I'm glad you could join us today, and we will hope to visit with you again next time here in the future. Thank you.